Before we start, just a quick request for all of you kind enough to listen to our podcast. We really appreciate it. We are grateful for every listener, and we are aware that some of you are listening via Spotify. We would like to remove our podcast from this platform, as the CEO of this organisation, Daniel Ek, has a less than salubrious history of underpaying musicians for their art, and has of late made questionable investments with the money he has made through Spotify. Two glaring examples are the €600,000 investment in Helsing, which is an AI weapons company, and the $150,000 paid to Trump's inauguration bash. We don't want to just pull a podcast from Spotify immediately and stop you listening to us, but we would kindly ask you to find alternative platforms to find us, be it a podcatcher app, YouTube, or just going direct to our source hosting site, given in the show notes. We will no longer be available on Spotify from the end of May. Thank you again for your support, but please don't use Spotify, as even the free version uses ad revenue to pay for evil shit perpetrated with their profits, and very little goes towards the artists you listen to. Satan does not like AI, weaponry, or Trump, and likes musicians to be paid a fair rate.
Hell is empty, and all the devils are here.
Hello and welcome to our new episode of The Devil's Library. My name is Ligeia, hail Satan, and I am here today with my good friend Leraje.
Hail Satan.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Why are we talking like this?
I don't know. Maybe because I was just saying it's so weird because I think this is the first time we are recording during a sunny day. It's like afternoon, after lunch. So maybe I'm trying to make it a little bit darker.
Make it darker.
Yeah. Okay. So today we are finishing. So if you have been listening to us before, you might know this is a book by Susanna Clarke. And the name of the book is The Ladies of Grace Adieu. And we only had 2 stories left. So there was no choosing. We just needed to finish this book and look forward to new ones.
Yeah.
So the story that was left, one of them was The Duke of Wellington Misplaces His Horse. I love these names, by the way. It's just like, what the hell? And the last one, if I mispronounce, please excuse me. I struggle with this name here. So it's John Uskglass and the Cumbrian Charcoal Burner.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You know, like having a S, K, G, and L. I'm not sure because in English sometimes you just like swallow a few syllables or whatever, the whole word. But in this case, I didn't know which one, so I'm just saying everything. Good. Anyway. It's my approach.
Yeah, it's like when Americans say Worcestershire sauce.
Oh my God. Leicester Square. Or how do they say? Leicester Square.
Leicester Square. No. Just swallow your vowels.
Which actually makes sense if they say it that way, because you have all those letters
That is
there.
literally how it's. Yeah.
Then you come here and like people are laughing at you, like, why are you laughing?
You don't say it like that.
Yeah, how do you say Leicester? Like, what? Half of the word is gone? It's almost like we were French or something. Anyway, and specifically talking about French, let's start with the Duke of Wellington. I did not even think. How good. Yeah. So this was a short story. I mean, both of them, but I think this one is really, really short.
Yeah.
So maybe I will just start with the plot is quite simple. It is about this historically real figure of Duke Wellington. His name was Arthur Wellesley. Am I right?
Yep.
Wellesley. So he was a real person, for those who are not familiar with the history of this country. He was real. He lived between 1769 and 1852. Mm-hmm. And he was the first Duke Wellington. So that's just like a side note. In this story, this person somehow loses his horse, his favorite horse. Beautiful, beautiful. I forgot his name.
Copenhagen.
Yeah, Copenhagen. How could I have? Yeah. So the horse runs away and he is trying to find it and he sees it in the distance. So he follows the horse because he really wants to get it back, right?
Yeah, favorite horse.
Yeah. I think in the story it was said like he accidentally crosses the line between the like normal human world and this fairy world.
Mm.
And he continues and he comes up to a cottage or a little house that is kind of cute and adorable. And there was like a little moment where I was almost, how do I say nicely, made me gag when he was looking at this young, beautiful girl working on the tapestry and he was like, oh, I need to see her if she's really pretty and I should probably spend some time with her. Like, anyway, we will get there. I was trying to just like build up like what the plot is.
Yes.
So he's there, he sees this young girl making this tapestry, he goes inside and it's beautiful what she's doing. It's like the colors are all around the ceiling because it's like little, not gems, but like little stones or whatever. It is gorgeous. It is golden and silver and everything. And he sees it's a tapestry of his life, the past, and a little bit into the future. Okay, I will leave it at that. Let's give you the word now.
Yeah.
Because I have opinions on this guy.
The Duke, the Iron Duke, he was called.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've encountered him in literature before.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like at one remove. I'm a big fan of a series of novels by a man called Patrick O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
And they're set in the the English Navy as it was then, when Wellington was in charge of the armed forces of England and Britain.
But
So
it's
he
fiction.
Yes, it's fiction. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
There's about 20 novels in this series, and they are exceptionally good. But he's kind of he's a recurring figure in the background because it's around that time period. But yes, in this story, he comes a cropper because he stays at a pub, annoys the landlady, and in revenge, they take his horse out and put it in a field which is very close to a hole in the wall. And through this hole in the wall that's the border to the land of fairy.
Yeah.
So yeah, he goes in, as you say, lectures over this young girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just how it was said, like, oh, let's see her face. Is she so lovely from the front as she's lovely from me? This angle, I'm like, oh, you should probably die. Anyway. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, he's portrayed in the literature that I've read, as this kind of formidable soldier type figure. So I don't know how true that represents it. I don't know whether he would. I don't know enough about him as an actual person. So.
I think he also wrote some books. I don't
Did
think
he?
you hold on. I've seen something because I was just like looking him up the years.
So I think this was just a fun little story that Susanna Clarke threw together because
probably she chose him exactly because of what you said, like he was like a personification of all that, like discipline, control.
Yeah, fairly pompous male.
Yeah.
Typical of the age. Yeah.
Putting him into this situation makes it funny, like subtle humor, which is so Susanna.
Yes.
It's never all over the top. It's so subtle. It's so cute.
It's probably the shortest story in the whole book, actually.
Yeah.
It's very short. But as she always does, she manages to get these little humorous asides and remarks in.
Yeah.
Like him stealing the landlady's scissors.
Oh, I forgot about that. It's also spelled in a way. Hold on, the
with
scissors.
An A.
Yeah. I'm like, is this how it was before? I don't even know. Probably it's like an older English.
I think it's likely. Yeah.
Right. Because I was looking at that word like, what the hell is this now? Stop doing this to me.
You thought maybe for a
Scissors.
moment she'd had John Ward's proofreaders.
Yes, but because it was coming back in the same way, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like, oh, we are just confused. No, it was like that. And yes, he just stole the scissors. Oh my goodness. It was actually really funny how he approached the tapestry.
So yes, he goes, as Ligeia said previously, he goes into this little fairy house where this fairy woman is constructing this tapestry of what turns out to be Wellington's life.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's really after is he wants to get Copenhagen back and then get out of
Yeah.
fairy. And she says, oh, well, you might be fucked there, mate, because you can't. Basically. And then she gets distracted and goes outside, and he gets these scissors and snips away at the tapestry.
Because
He wants to escape. He wants to get...
but
he can adjust it.
Remember what he saw she did. Yeah, there was a reason, because he could see, like, he could actually see how she already had done the piece where he is actually standing by the window looking at her. So she was very fast. It was obviously fairy. But then she was finishing a piece where there is a knight or somebody in an armor coming and killing him. He would die. And he was like, oh no,
That's right.
can you probably like change this? I don't like that. I don't want to die. Could we? And she's like keeping her fucking calm. She's like, no, she doesn't care who he is. She's like, whatever, I will finish this. And she doesn't speak. She says no. And that's it. I loved it, because he thought like, oh, probably she will be so impressed by my person. And she's no.
Yeah.
So she finishes that. And he is dying there in the tapestry, and she leaves. And he's like, oh, this can't happen. And he can see through the window, like, oh, there is somebody in an armor approaching. Like, oh, probably this will happen in like a few minutes. So he's like, how can this be helped?
Wait, cried the Duke. I do believe that this is not a military problem at all. It is a problem of needlework.
I died. Exactly. This is the humor. She's like, oh, you can't even be angry or anything.
Yeah.
This is not a military issue.
And
he remembers. Yeah, he remembers like, I have these scissors. Hold on. So.
Yeah. What would he have done without the scissors?
Yeah. No. He would be
scissors.
Scissors. He would be so done.
He would.
So how lucky. Yeah. So he manages to unpick like that. I don't know if just that one picture, probably. And because he wants to have the horse, he is like stitching by his clumsy hand a picture of him getting the horse and getting out of there, which does not look as elegant and beautiful. But
figures.
It's done.
Yeah.
And he gets out.
She's quite an interesting character, the unnamed fairy.
Yeah.
She reminds me, the whole thing with the needlework, I mean, obviously there's a throwback to the story we read before with
Mary,
Queen of Scots.
What was her name?
Antics and Frets.
Yes. Yes. Right.
But she sort of like reminded me, do you remember that, there's that Greek, is it Greek, I think? There's a trio of people who kind of like take care of the thread of your life. I think they're fates.
Yes. I can't tell you the names of these mythical creatures.
I can't remember either. I should have looked it up.
Hell yeah.
But I think they're Greek, and they're kind of like responsible for looking after the fate of everybody who's born.
That is so true.
And when you die, they snip. The last act is to snip the thread of your life. Yeah.
Maybe that's where it comes from. Like we still use that, like the thread of life, and like it was cut. Yeah. So I can't really remember the name or the whole story.
No, I can't.
I will probably look it up because I did not realize the connection here.
Yeah, I think if there is a connection, it's kind of like a very loose one. I don't think.
Yeah, like inspiration probably. It's really a miniature little story, which is not very elaborate, or it's not like the characters, if you know that this person was real, I mean the Duke, you can look him up, you can see like what he did, and he was the first prime minister, and all the Waterloo situation.
Yeah.
So she doesn't need to do much about him, but really, like the comparing him to this fairy world, which doesn't care about who he is and what he does. It's not their fault that the horse is there,
No.
She doesn't explain why this girl is there and why this tapestry. What would have happened if he didn't come there? Maybe would he have been dead? Was it happening before?
Well, yeah.
We don't know.
I mean, if that was his fate, i.e. his fate is predetermined by the tapestry, and in the tapestry he went into fairy and died, then essentially he's living on borrowed time from that point on.
Yeah, he's changing history. It reminds me of that Stephen King's book. What is it? 11. What is it?
Oh, the one about JFK?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just the idea of going back to the past and changing one, like a big thing, like assassination of somebody or I don't know what. And how that probably would create a better future, which we might not understand, like the whole thing and the details that would have been changed also. And how do we know it would have been better? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's just maybe that made me think.
Yeah, I think the thought is, I think most people would think, if I change the bad thing, if I stop the bad thing from happening, therefore no bad thing will happen. But that's not necessarily true.
No, that's like many questions like this. Oh, like, that horrible person in the Second World War. I'm not gonna name names, but like, what would have happened if he would have died as a baby or would never have been born? We don't know.
There's a very famous science fiction short story that is so famous that I can neither remember the name of it nor the author of it.
I love that.
But it explores that idea. In the story, they invent the time machine and they can go back in time.
Uh-huh.
But they have to tread on very particular paths and only take very particular routes.
Oh.
And in this short story, one of the people who was on this kind of like tour of, I think it was the time of the dinosaurs, the Jurassic period, and he accidentally put 1 foot off the path.
That would be
And when they got back, the whole of the future was completely different. And it's like,
no.
So it's kind of like this idea of even a very small change.
Oh, fuck off. No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary. That is so scary because they have left there's something here thinking they will be coming back to that. And now everything is fucked. Yeah. I apologize for swearing this much. I would like to say I'm working on it, but I'm not.
No, why would you?
It's getting worse. That's
I would be worried if you did.
God, like Ligeia, are you okay? Are we doing fine? Do we need scissors?
Do we need scissors?
How does the tapestry of your day look like? What is happening? Sorry. No. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything more to say about this one?
Just at the close of the story is a kind of like reflection of that idea of not knowing where changes can take you.
Yes.
Because he's kind of like complaining to one of his friends that, when I was a soldier, I could do what I wanted. I said things and things happened. But now I'm a politician. There are so many other people I must please, so many compromises I must make that I am at best a stick figure. Mrs. Arbuthnot wondered why the Duke suddenly looked so alarmed and turned pale.
Yeah, I forgot about this ending, right? Are we feeling any pity with him? I'm not.
Not particularly.
Sorry, Duke. He could have turned into like a unicorn in the land of fairies. That would also be nice. Like, she's giving me so many ideas that I can just take and fly with them for like hours. I love this book.
I think that's one of the best things about her writing is that it really fires your own imagination.
Yes. I remember thinking about exactly this story, which is not like her, I wouldn't say it was her best of the bestest. No. But it gave me these funny ideas, and I know I was smiling, and I was thinking, okay, so the horse is now a unicorn. He's dead. What are we doing? So I love her for this, really. But the same with Piranesi, which is a masterpiece. Please,
It is a
people,
masterpiece.
go read Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I'm just saying. Okay, are we going?
Yeah, so let's go on to the last one, which is John Usglass and the Cumbrian Charcoal Burner, which is a bizarre title for a short story, but there we go.
Yeah, I was surprised.
So this story is kind of like a very sort of like, it's almost a very typical English farce in that there's lots of misunderstandings and there's lots of not really getting what's going on by the people in it. So it's got that kind of like farcical elements that's pretty typical of I don't know, English humour.
Mm-hmm.
Basic outline of this story, how to tell this.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at your face and you're
I know,
like,
it's just so
where do we
confusing.
start with this one?
So, in a clearing in a wood in Cumbria, there lives this charcoal burner. Now, if you're not quite sure what a charcoal burner is, charcoal burners were quite common at one point, and they're basically people who, as the name implies, burn charcoal because it was a required resource in those days.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a very lucrative profession. He was, and he's described as being very poor and dirty and sooty, and he lives on his own. He's got no wife, no kids. His only companion is a pig called Blakeman for some reason. Why is it called Blakeman? But there we go.
I don't know.
So one day he's in his clearing, and a load of old hunters come through chasing a stag, and they create a right mess and confusion, and he tells them to all piss off, basically, and they do, apart from one of them, because Blakeman, the pig, is running under the horse's hooves, and he can't get out from under this pig. We've got to do spoilers, really, haven't we? It's only a short story. I don't suppose it really matters about
No,
spoilers,
I don't think.
No? Okay. So, as it turns out, the huntsman who is trapped by the pig, by Blakeman running under his horse's hooves, is John Usglass.
Oh, right, yes.
And John Usglass' other name is the Raven King. He is the most famous magician in all of England, and he turns Blakeman into a salmon, and
Yes.
the salmon leaps through the air into the brook. and
Because why not
swims away.
salmon?
Well, why not, yeah. I mean,
I love this story so much.
the Raven King, John Usglass, is now free of the pig, and he can ride off, and he does.
Uh-huh.
And the charcoal burner's like, well, what the fuck am I going to do now? I've got no pig.
What just happened?
Yeah.
Who was this?
Yes, that's another point we should note. The charcoal burner has no idea
No.
that it's the Raven King who's just like transformed
He's
his pig
not
into...
impressed by this person. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't even observe.
No.
He's just like, oh, Blakeman is gone.
So what he does, bizarrely, is he decides, right, he's going to go to an abbey to try and get something to eat. And, okay, fine, that seems like a good idea. And the almoner who's running the abbey gives him a big round cheese and a blanket and asked him what had happened to him. So the charcoal burner told him what had happened, and the charcoal burner gives a really poor description of it. So the almoner doesn't realise it's the Raven King, and he says something like, "So poor Blakeman is a salmon now. Okay,
Yes.
go and have a word with Saint Kettigern. I'm sure he will help you. He knows all about salmon."
Uh-huh.
So he then goes off on a journey to a church where Saint Kettigern is the patron saint of this church. So he goes to the church and he sort of like bangs on the door, and Saint Kettigern is described as peeking out of heaven to see what all the noise is about.
Just his head. It's like,
Yeah.
what is this noise?
And the charcoal burner tells Saint Kettigern what's happened. Saint Kettigern says, "Saints like me ought always to listen attentively to the prayers of the poor, dirty, ragged men, such as you. You are of special care." And the charcoal burner is very flattered to hear this. And Saint Kettigern basically turns... Does he turn? Yes, he turns the salmon back into Blakeman the pig.
Yes, he does
and he's
help
got
him.
back. And from that point on, there's a series of ever increasingly unlikely events, and it just gets more and more bizarre.
Just one more detail that
Yeah,
happens
go on.
for the first time here, and then it's repeated with all the other saints, is he is not happy with just the salmon
true.
getting. He says, I'm not sure how to say that name. Let Blenkatra fall on his head. And we learn that this is some sort of like a mountain or a hill.
Yeah.
So he's asking the saint, please, no, I'm not happy. We need to punish this person for what he's done to me. Let that hill fall on his head.
Yeah.
I found that extremely British and funny because it's like, it's so absurd. It's not like, let him die or let him be sick. No, let this mountain fall on his head. And he repeats this everywhere. It's like, what the fuck?
Gattagan says, well, I can't really do that. I mean,
no, that's not very nice.
No.
You can't do that.
As well as giving him Blakeman, he also punishes the Raven King with a lot of days.
Yeah.
And as the saint speaks the words, John Glass, who was still hunting, fell off his horse and into a hole and was stuck there, basically couldn't move for an entire day.
Yeah, he was in the ditch. Mm-hmm. And like also the name of the abbey is quite funny because he's a charcoal burner, and I found it funny. It's called Furnace Abbey.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's only...
There is a place called Furnace. But,
is it? Okay, but it was like...
No, I think it's I think he did that deliberately.
Yeah, because are we just burning everything? Okay.
A brief interruption at this point. Somehow we lost about 10 minutes of audio, so we're going to skip ahead. Okay, onward.
It was such a good story because it was not like malicious. Nobody was trying to do... I think the Raven King, he was just very used to do anything he wanted, enter any woods.
Yeah.
He was never questioning, eat the cheese. I just found this food. Nobody's going to question. I'm the king. I can eat whatever I see. Right? It didn't even cross his mind like, oh, this guy is unhappy because I have eaten all his food. No, I don't think he understood that.
No,
it was just like, oh, okay, you are a little bit angry. I'm gonna go away. And he doesn't understand it. And this guy is like, that was my only cheese, you idiot. Who even are you? And I loved how he absolutely was not even computing like the details there. Like he is actually wearing really nice clothes. He has some jewelry on his hands. He has beautiful gloves. It's obvious to other people that this is some really special person.
Consequence, yes.
Right? And this guy is so out of that. Like he doesn't care. He didn't even know there is a king.
No.
He was living in his little world and he was happy.
With his pig and his charcoal, and that's all he wanted. Yeah.
He didn't need any of that. So he was not like being bad, like, oh, I hate kings and whatever, I'm gonna be an ass. No, he didn't even compute the details. That's why he couldn't even describe this person. He was like, oh, that was just this guy on his horse and he did all this, like, help. Oh my god, it was so adorable.
Probably the funniest story.
I mean, for me, this worked. It is nothing but funny to me because all these saints and how it's just peeking their heads out of heavens.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That's it for the Ladies of Grace Adieu. What did you think of the collection as a whole?
I really, really enjoyed this. I had no idea going into this book what it's going to be about. As I said in previous, which one episode, I don't know, that I thought it's going to be about like nuns and monks and religious things. Well, this one was, okay? We have saints.
Yeah.
I had no idea it's about like fairies and the fairylands. Which is a nice surprise to me because I don't think I would have reached out to this book knowing that. And I love that we are doing this, not just this one, like the minisodes, but the other books that we do as a group, because I get to read stories and books that are so wholesome, you know? I mean, her writing is excellent. And specifically this book is a nice palate cleanser for me.
Yeah. Because
it's not heavy, like, I don't know, reading my beloved Ligotti. That's a heavy read. That's like really, or other books that we do and horror literature, that is usually my go-to. So this was refreshing. And many of these stories gave me a lot of hope that this world can also be still beautiful and innocent and a little bit naive.
And funny sometimes.
And funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, I mean, she is a superb writer, and I think she could write in any genre that she chose to.
I think so.
The quality of the writing is just so high. I think probably horror / fantasy and comedy are probably two of the hardest genres to write in, because
Mm-hmm.
there's so much that can fall flat if you don't do it right,
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're not confident. But the quality of her writing is so good that she excels at both, really. And I genuinely think she could write anything she wanted to. We're just very, very lucky that from our point of view as people who appreciate kind of more esoteric literature, let's say, that she's chosen to write in this field.
Yeah, I agree. I would absolutely suggest this book to anybody. It is really just innocent. Even kids can read this. There is nothing that would make me feel heavy or sad.
Mm.
And it is provoking like different thoughts that I don't usually like access these parts of my brain or my imagination. And I am so grateful to her.
Yeah.
And also to you. You brought this book to me, to my attention. So, yeah.
Everything she's written I have loved uncritically and unconditionally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And they are, I think, a good introduction to the sort of like fairy world that she likes to write about, which is the world of Jonathan Strange, really.
Yeah. Well, which is still waiting for me to
yeah.
read.
That's a commitment.
But yeah, I can see, and I'm not ready at this moment with my time. But yeah, I don't think I will ever look the same at any like fairy tale or stories that are generally well known as just like, I don't know, folk stories. Yeah. After reading this, I would be always questioning like, okay, hold on.
Yeah, that's it for Susanna Clarke. That's it for the Ladies of Grace Adieu.
Kind of sad it's finished.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's it from this one. A shorter one, because there's only 2 stories in this.
Well, it is a minisode, by the way, so...
Yeah, because we're usually so good about keeping them short.
Jeez.
All right, until next time then, I've been Leraje, hail Satan.
I've been Ligeia, hail Satan.
See you next time.
Bye.